You are watching review for this product. The link is in description.
Alright, so today I want to do a review on the Samsung Odyssey G9 OLED, which I have sitting right here, as you can see right there. And I have owned this monitor for the past 6 months, and I've used it for everything from video editing, photo editing, browsing the web, watching movies, watching YouTube videos, gaming as well. I game on it a lot, and I've used it for tons and tons of different things, and it's been amazing. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into this review. So first things first, I'm actually going to cut to my phone camera and show you what this monitor looks like in my space. Not what it looks like picture quality wise, but what it actually looks like in my space for what, you know, how big it is, you know what I'm saying? Because this thing is 49 inches diagonally, which is ginormous. So yeah, let's cut to my phone camera and then we'll cut back to this one. Okay, so this right here is what the monitor looks like in my workstation, you know what I'm saying? I got my little monitor down there for when I want to have like just Discord or music opened up, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, this monitor is 49 inches, which is from there to there. And if you don't know what that means, it's basically two 27-inch monitors put together without the bezel in the middle. That's basically what it is. Yeah, it's big. So like my point of view is like this. So it pretty much takes up everything in front of me, which is super cool, especially for gaming, you know what I'm saying? And right now I just have a YouTube video playing of some cool scenery, you know what I'm saying? But I do have a big bright light pointed at it, so it doesn't look quite as good. But yeah, you might notice I don't have it sitting on its stand. That's because I am using a monitor arm, which I have heard finding monitor arms that work for this thing is kind of difficult. So I will tag this monitor arm in or down below along with the monitor, so you can go ahead and find it. This monitor arm has worked perfectly for it. It's more than strong enough to hold this thing up. One thing I do want to mention is just check out how thin this thing is. Like, it is super thin, which is pretty cool. And yeah, this is what it looks like in my space, as you can see. And yeah, let's come back to this camera now and actually talk about what this thing looks like and just how it's been using it for the past 6 or so months. So yeah, let's go back to this one. All right, so now that you guys have seen what this monitor looks like in my workspace and just, you know, kind of got an idea of just what it looks like in general, let's talk about what it's actually been like using this monitor. So first, we'll talk about gaming and like the HDR and stuff of this on this monitor, because this is mainly a gaming monitor, but you can use it for tons of other things, as I've already stated. So yeah, gaming, this monitor has been amazing, like absolutely amazing. Samsung knocked it out the park here in terms of a gaming monitor. So yeah, I mean, 1440p, amazing resolution for gaming, 240 hertz, extremely smooth. Then when you pair that 240 hertz refresh rate with a 0.03 millisecond pixel response times, which is insanely fast, I mean, that's a recipe for just an amazing gaming experience, especially if you got a PC powerful enough to run games at 240 hertz. Then yeah, it's amazing. And yeah, that pixel response time is just totally thanks to this thing being OLED. So OLED has just insanely fast pixel response times. That's just one of the many benefits of it being an OLED panel. So yeah, amazing gaming experience. And in terms of the HDR on this monitor, this has the HDR or VESA DisplayHDR True Black 400 rating, which is technically like the lowest end rating you can have for the True Black series, because True Black is specific to OLEDs, because OLEDs are so much different than regular displays. And while yes, technically True Black 400 is the lowest rating, there's True Black 400, 500, and 600. Those ratings are, the only thing that changes between those ratings is the peak brightness across the entire screen, which this one is 400 nits. It goes all the way up to 600 nits on the highest rating, which the difference between those ratings is not that big. And I only really know that because I watched YouTube videos where they go over the different VESA Display True Black ratings, and it's not that big. The only thing that changes is the peak brightness across the entire screen. So, but yeah, enough with the ratings. In terms of what it actually looks like, you know, watching and playing HDR games, it is nothing short of amazing. I'll tell you why. I played Red Dead Redemption 2 with like the graphics turned all the way up. I was only running at 60 FPS, which I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? With a game like that, 60 FPS is totally fine. But I had all the graphics turned all the way up with HDR on, and it looked incredible. Okay, the HDR was just absolutely incredible. It looked amazing. Like, looking at the sun in the sky was legitimately like really bright. It was really bright. And when you combine that with the fact that with an OLED, the blacks are just pitch black, like they're actually black. You know what I'm saying? It looked incredible. And like even when you're walking through like, you know, Valentine, one of the towns in Red Dead Redemption 2, at nighttime, you can see all the street lights and the lanterns and stuff are just like noticeably brighter on your screen, which is really, really, really cool. Just a really cool experience. So yeah, gaming and HDR, amazing on this monitor. Now, before I get into what it's like using this monitor for video editing and photo editing, you might be wondering, you know, how long is this OLED panel going to last? You know what I'm saying? You've probably heard that OLEDs get burn-in and stuff like that, and like after a year or two of using it, you have burn-in, then you got to get a new one, all that sort of stuff. Now, I've owned this monitor for 6 months. I have no signs of burn-in, and I don't expect to have any signs of burn-in for this one reason right here, and that is because this monitor has a factory setting. So factory meaning that you don't have to turn it on, it's on from the factory. Has a factory setting where it turns off automatically after like 10 minutes of inactivity. That has nothing to do with your computer doing that. That is the monitor just detecting and no activity on screen and just turning off. So after 10 minutes, it just turns off. Then you can go ahead and wiggle your mouse, it detects activity, and it turns back on. And that is just amazing that it has that from the factory, because I'm sure you guys know, like, you know, with a computer monitor, it's different from a TV, because this thing, you might leave your desk for an hour and it's just gonna stay on. You know, or like a regular monitor would just stay on. You know what I'm saying? Just displaying the same thing for just an hour straight. That, if you do that for long enough, that would cause burn-in. But with this, after 10 minutes, doesn't matter, it just turns off. You know what I'm saying? It also has a few other things for OLED care, I think they call it. Like one thing called pixel shift. Don't ask me what it does, I don't know what it does, but apparently it helps with OLED burn-in and preventing it. So yeah, just after 6 months, I have no signs of burn-in, and I don't expect to have any signs of burn-in in the future, just because of all of the stuff that it does to prevent burn-in. So yeah, but yeah, that's enough about burn-in. Let's talk about what this monitor is like when you're doing stuff like video editing and photo editing, because I am a photographer and I make these videos all the time, so I'm doing a lot of both of those things. So for both of those things, this monitor is absolutely amazing. So the colors are extremely accurate, they look really good, and just, yeah, really, really accurate. I don't have any of like the ratings for the color accuracy, like the DCI-P3, I don't have any of that on hand. I could go look it up, but honestly, it looks really good. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're getting into like super duper professional work where you like need absolutely perfect color accuracy across all of the color gamuts, then obviously this is not the monitor for you. But if you're just an average guy like me making these videos, you want them to look good, or you're like an amateur photographer and you want the photos to look good when you edit them, this is going to be perfect for that. And I do want to mention that since this monitor is so wide, when you're using editing programs like Adobe Premiere Pro, it is so good. Like you can see so much of your timeline. It is amazing. I love it. Like I can have my full color correction tab open over here, like it taking up a ton of space, but I can still see so much of my timeline over here and all that sort of stuff. I can see all my my videos all in this section. And just having this much room horizontally is amazing. I love it. So yeah, you're probably noticing this is a really positive review, and that's because I don't really have anything I don't like about this monitor. Samsung, they pretty much killed it with this monitor, you know what I'm saying? One thing that I gotta talk about here real quick is this monitor actually has its own remote and a built-in smart interface, which is amazing because you can do things like, you know, open up streaming platforms. You know, it's got its own game hub and stuff like that. But one thing that's really cool is it actually does its own firmware updates, like on its own, because this monitor is connected to the Wi-Fi for the smart interface. So this thing does its own firmware updates on its own. I never even have to even think about it, which is amazing. So yeah, I'll show you guys the smart interface here. Hopefully you guys can see. Yep, there we go. So you can hit the home button on the remote here, and then it takes you to the home screen right here, as you can see. Then you can go over here, you got your media tab, where you can open up any sort of streaming platform that you want. You got like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, all of the streaming platforms you could ever want here. And then we have the game hub over here, as you can see. I've never used this before, but you can use things like Amazon Luna, GeForce Now, or any sort of like, what do you call it? Game streaming service, I think they call it. So that's pretty cool. And then you got Workspace up here, which I'll be honest, I don't know what this does or what it's for. I've never used it before. I think you can do things like schedule meetings or something like through here or something like that. Honestly, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. But yeah, then over here we have your connected devices, which is where you can go over to any sort of device that you have connected to this computer, like my PC right here, as you can see. Click on it, and then we're here. Super cool. So yeah, also you can hit the pause and play button on the remote, hold it down, and then up comes your like on-screen HUD or whatever you want to call it. But like you can change like your picture modes here, your aspect ratio, virtual aim point, sound output, all sorts of stuff like that. And then you got like your resolution, your refresh rate, HDR, VRR, all that stuff down there. You can see if it's on or not. And just yeah, then you can hit the back button there, goes away just like that. And yeah, just having a smart interface on a monitor is such a cool thing. Such a cool thing. So, and just overall, this monitor is really good. Like, they knocked that out of the park. It's expensive, I know, but you get what you pay for. You get an extremely good OLED monitor that's going to be good at pretty much everything. You know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say. So I 100% recommend this monitor if you're looking for a top tier, really good monitor. And yeah, I appreciate you watching, and take it easy.